Welcome back, folks, to Let's Play Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Justice for All for the Nintendo DS. I'm SamuraiT-X and I'm Solid Snake. And Samurai has the choice to present some evidence that what was inside the case in the time of the murder. So, Samurai, do you have anything to present? Well, to be honest with you, I think that what was in that case was actually another costume to some kind, because Matt on Guard said something about not knowing about something, so I'm guessing this confession the Nickel Samurai was about to make has something to do with what was in the guitar case, about leaving the bright red guitar at home to jam a ninja, of course. So I'm going to present this photo, because I think that's important, Snake. Do you agree with me? I think I do. But present it anyway, I don't know. But let's go. Take that!
This is a photograph.
Yes, but what is important is what is in that picture, Your Honor.
In this picture?
Yes, Your Honor, in this picture. It doesn't take a genius to see what I mean. What I'm proposing is table smash. Inside the guitar case was the Nickel Samurai, the hero's very own costume. What? Even Edgeworth looked gobsmacked. I love his face when he does that.
Mr. Wright, explain yourself.
Right, are you saying that the witness opened the guitar case to take out a costume? What insane point would there be to be doing something like that? That insane point would be to wear the costume, of course. Miss Andrews put it on to hide her identity so that she could make her escape. After all, you couldn't let anyone see you leave, could you, Miss Andrews? I refuse to accept your theory. Table smash, do you have anything to support such a preposterous idea? Just outside the door was an investigative photographer who was starving for a big scoop. And in the end, she managed to get this shot, correct?
You mean this photo?
Yeah, pretty much. I do mean that photo, Judge.
Order! Order! It looks like we've wandered into quite another mess again, haven't we?
Nice job, Phoenix. Nice job, Samurai. Thanks. Well, you know my strategy. Speak first, think later.
So the real murderer was hiding inside a costume?
Well, wait 1 second, Your Honor. The Nickel Samurai's costume would have been Mr. Matt on Guard's. Table smash, why would something of the defendant's be in the victim's room? Huh. And inside the guitar case of all places.
True. This is a little baffling, it really is.
But it will come to fruition when we explain it, Judge.
Mr. Wright, the court would like to hear your thoughts. What was the Nickel Samurai's costume doing inside the guitar case?
Well, we can't say it was a spare costume, but, you know. Well, we'll get a penalty. We'll get a penalty if we say it was stolen from On Guard, so we're gonna go for the smart option, say it was a spare costume. Mr. On Guard did not take his costume off during the break period, which that is also another thing, so this was definitely a spare costume. In that case, the costume we are talking about was a spare one. What?
Then, are you saying that on the night of the murder, there were 2 Nickel Samurai costumes at the Gatewater Hotel?
Yes, that is what I'm saying.
And how do you explain this? And how do you explain the costume that was inside the guitar case?
Table smash. It will mean that the victim himself had planned to bring the spare to the ceremony. Yeah, he pretty much did.
But why? The victim, Mr. Corridor, was the jamming ninja.
Yep, he was.
Why would he secretly bring the Nickel Samurai spare costume with him? What could there be a reason behind such a peculiar act?
So that's what he intended. What are you mumbling to yourself about now? Have you just been rambling all this time without making any sense of inner monologue? Huh? No, I just...
Mr. Wright, please explain yourself. Why do you think the victim had the Nickel Samurai spare costume?
Phoenix, are you sure you can explain this one?
We got no choice.
Think carefully before you answer, and then answer with gusto. I believe in you. Alright, this is what I think. The reason the victim brought the Nickel Samurai spare costume to the hotel was this ticket. Because this ticket was apparently the Nickel Samurai was to confess something. Remember Snake? Yeah. And I was going for that too. So, could it be that one corridor wanted to confess something as the Nickel Samurai? So we're going to present it. Take that!
What is this?
On the night of the murder, after the stage show, the Nickel Samurai was going to hold a special press conference.
A press conference?
Yes, the Nickel Samurai was supposed to confess something at this conference. I heard about this as well. For once, you're not making something up, right? But what struck me as strange was that Mr. On Guard himself said he had no idea what was supposed to be... He said that he had no idea he was supposed to be holding a press conference that night. Huh?
But how can that be?
The way I see it, that can only mean one thing. The conference was set up, table smash, by none other than the victim, Mr. Juan Corridor himself.
The victim?
Yes. The spare Nickel Samurai costume was spared for that very conference. Mr. Corridor was going to hold the press conference as the Nickel Samurai. No, I am not the Nickel Samurai. I am confirming that again. No, I am not the Nickel Samurai. And I'm definitely not a Steel Samurai. No, to be honest with you, I can understand why you mix yourselves up saying, hey Samurai, are you the Steel Samurai or the Nickel Samurai? Well, I'm superior to both Steel Samurai and Nickel Samurai, definitely. Let's just put that there, okay? Plus, I don't really need a TV show, I'm more private, so the fame is not really my thing. Alright, let's get back to the recording, as I quash these rumours.
He was going to dress up as the Nickel Samurai and hold a conference? But why would the victim do such a thing?
That's something I don't quite know yet. However, what I'm concerned with right now is what he intended to reveal at that conference. The Nickel Samurai was going to confess something. And by confess, I'd wager he was going to reveal something about himself. Which means that one corridor, posing as the Nickel Samurai, table smash, was going to speak about Matt on guards. Oops, right click, I do apologize about that.
Yes, I guess that is what it would mean.
But if that's the case, that's not a confession. That's That's not a confession. That's public disclosure. That it is. Huh.
Miss Andrews?
I can see why you are pros at what you do.
Pardon me?
Yes, just as you say, the press conference was set up by Juan. Oh wow, she knew too.
Miss Andrews, please offer us an explanation to this.
I was the one he asked to help set it up. And the person who prepared the second costume for him, that was also me.
You?
Juan had bet everything on the Jamming Ninja this year, and if he lost the Grand Prix, he was going to make sure Matt was going down with him. That's what he thought anyway.
He was going to ruin him? Huh?
It looked like somehow Juan had his hands on a secret so powerful that it would destroy Matt's acting career had it been revealed.
What? Smack, smack, smack. And do you know what this secret of Mr. Ogards is, Miss Andrews?
That's something only Juan knew. I don't know what it is.
Ah, I see.
I've probably been coming off quite suspicious to everyone. I think you have, to be honest with you. but that's to be expected. I've been trying to protect Matt, after all.
Protect Mr. On Guard? Smack. And yet again, another strange bit of truth comes to light, it seems. Miss Andrews, if you could, please tell us the truth about your behavior.
Yes, Your Honor, I understand.
Right, testimony number 3, protecting Matt.
From the moment I saw the crime scene, I had a feeling that Matt was the murderer. Matt had to kill one no matter what. And he didn't have an alibi for what he was doing at the time of the murder. My thoughts were confirmed by the evidence, of course the button and the knife. But I'm Matt's manager, so I felt I had to protect him.
Fair enough. Sounds very nice. This does account for everything.
Well, I am the logical type. We're finally seeing her true self. She is more nervous than a scared rabbit.
If there are no objections, I feel that I can pass a verdict based on this testimony. Now then, Mr. Wright, if you please.
Looks like somehow everything has swung to the opposite end of the scale again. That just means I have to put my weight into this and turn up her logic upside down.
Alrighty then. Time to press. Well, let's see.
Well, we can press all the statements, so let's ask her, shall we? Hold it! Would you say that your intuition... would you say that was your intuition speaking to you? Don't confuse my methods of reasoning with your own.
Ugh.
If you want to prove that someone did something, you need 3 things.
3 things?
A motive, an opportunity to commit the crime, and finally decisive evidence. And if you think these 3 things through, the answer becomes quite clear. You should have already known that, Phoenix.
They didn't teach us that in school, at least not from what I remember.
May I continue now?
Okay, nope, not gonna press that one. Nope, not gonna press that one. I'm gonna press this one though, so hold it! Table smash.
You can hardly call a knife decisive evidence. The fingerprints on the knife could very well be a clever camouflage. Then, what about the button?
The button?
It's clear from the crime scene that the victim and the murderer fought, and during the fight, the killer ripped the button from the jamming ninja's costume.
You're talking about this button, correct?
That button was found in the pleats of Matt's Akama. Isn't that correct? I would think that it makes it very decisive evidence.
Looks like you were outfoxed again, Mr. Wright. Anyway, the knife doesn't prove a thing. Please fix your testimony.
I can't stand the sight of a man who can't gracefully accept his defeat.
Ouch, even Mia's staring at us.
Thank goodness Mia can still look at me. With an icy stare, yes.
Miss Andrews, for Mr. Wright's sake, please add this information to your testimony. Okay. And we are going to present the autopsy report. Let's see. Is this? No, that's the suicide report. Where's the autopsy report? There it is. Strangled in the scarf. So yeah, he was strangled first. So he died after being strangled. Then he was stabbed with the knife. So yeah, we're going to present this because of the fact that he was strangled to death, then stabbed. So yeah, let's present it. Objection! Sorry, my objections sound pretty crappy. But I will say it again. Objection! There we go, that sounds better. This is the victim's autopsy report. It clearly states that the cause of death was strangulation by a scarf.
Strangulation?
The knife stab to the victim was done after the victim had already died. And what does that mean? Let's examine the evidence. This button has the victim's blood on it, which would mean that it was ripped off the costume when? After. After the knife was stabbed into the victim. Exactly. Which means... Table smash. It is impossible that the button was torn off during the victim's final struggle. Because the victim was strangled to death in that fight! That's right, Miss Andrews. There is no way this button was ripped off during the struggle. Table smash. This button was consciously pulled off... This button was consciously pulled off the victim... Okay, sorry. I needed to read that properly again. This button was consciously pulled off the victim's body. Sorry. This button was consciously pulled off of the victim's already dead body. God, that was, sorry about that. I do apologize. Smack, smack, smack. Order! What is the meaning? Table smash. What is the meaning of this right? So what if the bottom was torn off the body after the victim had already died? What does that change? Let me ask you one simple question, Mr. Edgeworth. Why was the button torn off? What purpose did that serve? What purpose? We now know this button was not torn off during the fight, so the murderer took the time and effort to purposely rip this from the victim's body. That would mean that the murderer had something in mind, wouldn't it? Mr. Wright, does this mean you know what the murderer wanted to do with this button? Was it... Well, we're not going to say it was a memento of the crime scene, that's stupid. And that would, of course, get us a penalty, of course. And to destroy evidence, that would also get me a penalty, because that's not true. It's obviously to frame Matt on guard, because his knife was there for starters, and they put the button in his Akama, so that's to frame him, of course. So let's choose the middle one.
Good job. I would have done the same thing.
There is only one logical reason for doing something like that. It was to pin the crime on Mr. On guard. There is no way anyone would put a bloody button on their own pants. Table smash. That's right, Mr. On guard was set up. By the real killer, of course. Smack. And the real murderer is... Well, Mr. Wright? Who in the world is the real killer, then? Finally. I can't believe I managed to bring this trial all the way up to this point. Phoenix, you can't let your guard down yet. Not until the very end. The real killer, the person who planned to frame Mr. I made Phoenix sound like the judge. The real killer, the person who planned to frame Mr. On guard is... We're going to have to pull it on Miss Andrews, obviously. Because, well... She's the only one that tampered with the crime scene a bit. With the vase, the glass. She said she wore gloves and whatnot. And pretty much we said that she was the one that I think was wearing this steel samurai thing because she's small and whatnot. So we're going to have to present her, right?
Yeah, that's the only person we could present anyway. So do it, Samurai.
Alright. Take that! Table smash. Miss Adrian Andrews, I choose you! You are Mr. Corridor's killer! What? And her glasses broke again. And that's her second pair. Smack, smack, smack. Order! 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 Mr. Wright, this is a very grave matter. Do you have any evidence that supports your charge? Any evidence? Table smash. All of the evidence points to Miss Andrews. What? How preposterous. You can't stick any of that on me. I can't, can I? Would you care to test me? Then, what about this knife? The knife was used to stab the victim after he had already been strangled to death. It was used to throw suspicion onto Mr. Ungard, naturally. A knife covered in the defendant's fingerprints could only be taken from his room. And the only one who had dinner with him and knew which knife to take was you. And that's her third piece of glass. That's her third glasses that's broken out. Then, what about the bottle that was found in Matt's Akama? This bottle was removed from the victim's body after he had already died. The only people who could have done so were the person who found the body or the killer. However, if Mr. On Guard was the real killer, table smash, there is no way he would have put such incriminating evidence in his own karma. Oh wow, another pair of glasses broke. We're just nailing her with all the evidence and pretty much just nailing her in general. The only person who could have put this button into Mr. On Guard's karma is the person who went to wake him up from his nap, which is you, yet again, Miss Andrews.
I see. What about the empty guitar case?
Table smash. That is also another piece of evidence that incriminates Miss Andrews. That costume was used to hide the real killer's identity as they fled the crime scene. Now, who could have known that there was such a costume inside the guitar case? And once again, she confessed to him about giving him that costume. So, yeah, she's nailed herself in this predicament right now. It could have only been the person who prepared the costume for the victim. And that person is you, Miss Adrian Andrews. No, Table smash. But Miss Andrews' fingerprints were nowhere to be found on the guitar case. And it was you who proved that she was not wearing gloves at the time.
That's right.
That's because she did not intend on leaving any prints. If anyone had found out that she had touched the case, they would have asked her why. So to avoid leaving any prints, she used a towel or something else to open it. Table smash. But the glass of tomato juice is a different story. Miss Andrews purposely left her fingerprints on the glass to show that yes, indeed, she was a classic days discoverer of a dead body. And to top it all off, there is this photo. A photo of the killer as they exited the scene of the crime. No reasonable person on earth can believe this nickel samurai is Mr. On Guard. He would be too short for his own costume if it was him. Speaking of how tall people are, Miss Andrews, you're also kind of short in stature, are you not? Please, stop. Table smash. Well, how about it, Miss Andrews? I've got her this time.
Miss Andrews?
I refuse to testify. What was that? That there's a law. It says I can't force to testify about something if it can incriminate me. What? You can't do that? That's unfair. We had momentum on our side.
Well, yes. You are absolutely correct, Miss Andrews. The law does provide us with a way to avoid self-incrimination by allowing a witness to not testify if their testimony can cause damage to themselves.
What? Pleading the fifth is not pleading the fifth is not something most people would think to do on the spot. Actually, thinking back to yesterday in Mr. On Guard's room. This is a flashback. And it's something Franziska said. Alright, there we go. Something Franziska said to Adrian Andrews to not talk, and remember what they discussed, so yeah, I think it's coming into fruition. That's it. That's when Franziska planted this idea into her head. She must have told Miss Andrews not to testify if things looked bad. You did a good job proving everything up to this point, Phoenix, but there is still one thing you haven't done. Something I haven't done? What's wrong, Wright? Are you finished already? Run out of evidence.
What is so humorous, Mr. Edgeworth?
I am sure you realize this as well, Your Honor. But everything the good lawyer has proven up to this point is meaningless. What? Everything you have proven is circumstantial. Circumstantial?
Yes, circumstantial. You have yet to prove a single piece of definitive proof. Table smash. Proof that Miss Andrews did in fact harbor a wish to murder Mr. Corridor. Damn it. Smack, smack, smack. Miss Andrews, did you want to kill Mr. Corridor?
I believe this may lead to me incriminating myself, so I will abstain from answering.
But Miss Andrews, if you do that, it will be the same thing as admitting your guilt, don't you think?
Maybe so, or maybe not. There is nothing to prove it either way. Besides, you don't even know what crime I would be guilty of due to my silence.
No! She's taken that defiant attitude again!
Mia, what should we do? Somehow, we've landed into the worst possible situation.
I think we have reached a certain conclusion at this point in time. Miss Adrian Andrews has refused to testify, and the defense's theory that she is actually I can't talk today. And the defense's theory that she is the actual murderer has not been fully substantiated with solid, definitive proof.
But that's not true!
In this situation, there is only one thing this court can do, and that is to declare a recess.
Recess?
I request that both the prosecution and the defense look further into this matter, and at tomorrow's trial...
Tomorrow? We don't have a tomorrow. If we don't get a guilty verdict today, then... Please, wait, Your Honor. That's not necessary. The trial. Please continue the trial.
What are you sweating for? Your client is getting one more day to live, isn't he?
That's not it. This isn't about that. Edgeworth, I know you know who the real killer is. Please, let the trial continue. If I don't get the verdict, then Maya...
Oh God, we struck a thing in his brain when he said Maya. Smack. But it's impossible to continue as long as the witness refuses to testify. Now then, this court is... It is not possible for this trial to continue.
Huh?
Mr. Edgeworth, what are you... It's true, Miss Andrews holds the right against self-incrimination. However, if the topic of conversation was something unrelated to whatever she may be guilty of, then she has no right to withhold testimony. Yes, that is very true, but... Actually, there is one little thing that I'm curious about. Miss Andrews. When you found the victim's dead body, you poured yourself a glass of juice.
Yes, and?
I can't help but think... I can't help but think how unnatural that is. Usually, when one finds a body, they are shaken up, not stir in a glass of juice.
So my actions were unusual, but I've already...
Before you speak, I want to state that if you have a reason behind your actions, I would like you to testify to that effect.
Testify?
Table smash. Your Honor, I would like to request that the witness testify again as to what happened when she first discovered the victim's body. Whatever we find in this testimony, there is no way... whatever we find out in this testimony should in no way implicate the witness.
I don't know what it is about Edgeworth today, but I can't get a good read of him. Is he friend or foe? I just don't know.
Smack. The court acknowledges the prosecution's request. Miss Andrews, if you please. And we're going to end the video right here because we can't pause when when it's on the witness testimony screen. So when we come back, folks, we'll play more Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, Justice for All. Until then, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video. Take care, everybody.